gotta leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bundy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her era lore. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. The field's not falling for the FOMO. Listening to coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a
boy.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits, yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. Everybody done so do favorite drops of GM in the chat down below and head up top. Smash the like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. Greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo and does us a real solid. GM to RDL and Osiris over there in the YouTube streets. You'll find that link up top along with the abstract link. We're also live, obviously, here on X. Appreciate the love and support. Those likes, reposts on the audio spaces or the video spaces if you prefer. Those are all pinned up top in the space. Debating if I hit done on this title adjustment or not. I said yesterday was going to be the last I would speak of a specific brand. Probably, I mean, I have somewhat of an obligation to close the loop and at least fly over today. So I'm gonna go ahead and change the title. I will change it away just because I'm not trying to create real enemies in the space. But yeah, I'm just gonna let it fly. There you go. ICO season, rate cuts, and Doopies equal floppies. Doesn't quite rhyme the way I thought it might, but we're gonna roll with it for a minute. Might just get this out during the cold open so we can move on with more exciting stuff. But I don't want to say I told you so. I don't want to say we called it, but it wasn't FUD. It was real concern, constructive feedback, criticism, call it whatever you want. It was like watching a train wreck. It was everything about this mint was just awful. It really seems like I don't even know what to compare it to. It wasn't. You can blame the market. You can make excuses all you want. I've seen some people trying to defend, bad market conditions. And sure, It's not optimal. It's also why you don't drop a 25,000 supply collection and price it at 1 to 3 SOL. There's also a world where they could have sold some at 1 to 3 SOL. I know they sold some, but it's really, really bad. Like, this might be the worst NFT mint of 2025. And it's just, I feel for the Doodle holders. They deserve better. The art's good. It deserves better. I don't want to say Burnt Toast deserves better because it was horrible execution. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it falls. You got to look at the top. You got to look at yourself. It falls on them. And I'm not going to relitigate yesterday. Actually, what I will do, I'll post a Gorilla video. He basically, I mean, he called it a flop. It is a flop. But he basically broke down. He got in a, I don't know how long is this video, in a few minutes, summarized pretty much everything we talked about yesterday here on the show. Went into even add on, we talked about how poor the communications was. He gave some specifics on that. And it just shows the team is, I just think, completely disconnected with not only Web3 and crypto, but communications on X and how to run socials on X. Like, I'm not an algorithm expert, but even I know that X does not like links. Even I know that you don't send an important tweet right after you have one that cooks because it's going to get nerfed by the algo. And so if you watch that video later, you'll see that part of the issue was they announced, I'll just pull it up on screen here. We do have some exciting stuff to talk about today. I think rate cuts guaranteed might be priced in. I also think there's a chance. The prediction markers are saying it's like a 1% chance, but there is a chance we get 50 bips today. If we get 50 bips, I think we absolutely send. It's less than 1% chance. 25 bips is basically programmed at this point. It's up to 97%. So if you are in the prediction market game and you're playing you probably should have done this one was around 90%, 97%. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if the risk return is there, but there's people that have made a killing on Polymarket and Kalshi this year by basically betting sure things. Their P&L is like 100% hit rate because they only bet things that are like all but guaranteed to occur. If it was 25 bips or greater decrease, then it's a guarantee. Again, my post this morning, my GM post was more hopium than anything. I don't really think we get 50 bips, although I think we get more rate cuts next year. I think Fed chair will be very much so one that's currying favor with the administration or friendly to the administration, and they clearly want cuts. So, as of this morning, no change, 3%, 25 bips decrease, 97%. Less than 1% is the 50 bips. I mean, it's got $142 million volume on it, 48 million on 25 bips, and somehow $128 million of volume on an increase. Make that make sense. I don't get that at all, but 2 o'clock is the meeting. POW goes on at 2:30. Remind me when the statement comes out at 2, do we know then what cut we're getting? Or do we have to wait until POW talks at 2:30? Someone in the chat or jump up on stage if you'd like. As always, welcome to Coffee with Captain. Never any financial advice. Show crypto is risky, NFTs risky, meme coins except risky. It all go to zero. Notice. Please don't join us for any financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, certainly not your financial advisor. Just join us for some fun, some information, maybe a little bit of education along the way. That said, if anyone wants to join, always an open stage here on Coffee. If you want to join the conversation, just throw in a request. We'll do our best to get to everyone, as well as any questions, comments in the chat. It is hoodie season down here. I'll do a quick check. 57 degrees in St. Pete this morning, but I'm starting to sweat. Maybe it's the Doopies flop. Maybe it is rate cuts. I don't know why, but I just I'm out of the blue just started like profusely sweating under my hoodie, like as if I'm going through menopause or something. Don't think that is the case, but I don't know if X is failing us in terms of nerfing posts or their censoriness. It's just the algo is what it is. They keep making adjustments. You got to pay attention to it. If you want to, there's two ways you can go about this. You can just post what you want and not care about the algorithm. And some people are going to see stuff, some people aren't. If you're attempting to build a career as a contract creator or something along those lines, then maybe you should pay a little more attention to the algorithm. If you're a brand and you're communicating to your holder base and X is the primary platform you do that, you need to be in the know. You need to be paying attention to this stuff. It's really important, especially if you're communicating key details. It's really important. You what time you post, how you post, all that stuff matters a lot. And not picking on them again, we're going to move on. It's just, I'm hopeful that we can learn from this as a space. I'm hopeful that other teams can learn from this, and art, intent, it all matters. Communications matter just as much. Execution matters probably more. This is not a space that is just going to, you can't have success just on pure vibes and speculation. It's just that era is gone. And yeah, it's just, I don't know what to say. I'll share this so you can see it, but here's a very specific example on how poorly this was executed, just from a comm standpoint. Very specific tactical advice for anyone listening in. Do not do this. Whether it's a mint or something that's important to communicate to your followers, your fans, people that you want to convert, people that you want, if you want them to see a message, this is exactly what not to do as it relates to X. This is algorithmic advice. It's very, I just assume that all major brands do this, because again, I'm not an algorithm expert. I don't know that but I know this. So this is the announcement tweet on December 8th. Let me go back. Make sure I get the right one here. This one here went out at 12:24 p.m. Got nearly 143,000 views, 1,000 likes, 298 retweets. What's in this tweet? Tomorrow, mint details, Doopies. Okay, Doopies have landed. Cool. Arrow down. Let's check the mint details. Here's the schedule. Okay, at 8 a.m., OG's claim. Hold on, I need to find out what actual day was November or December 8th. And I know there's a lot of people that are tired of talking about this. I'm not bashing this. Is just tying off the loop. Be the last time we talk about it. Probably the last time we talk about Doodles, quite frankly, after not just the timelines, some DMs and stuff I got. Like real, and I hate to say this because there are some people, I see Maria out there. There's some, we got, Doomers and Dunk Cookie, people like true friends, people I consider friends, people I admire, people I respect, people I, enjoy in the space, people I enjoy. I'd love to hang out at an in real life event. There's also several others that not to single it or shorten it, and not to not talk about anyone that I've connected with or a fan of that is in that community, or Roxette Doodles, who's on here yesterday. A lot of great people in this community, and they deserve better. So December 8th, this is Monday, where a lot of people, now I was back, a lot of people were traveling back from Art Basel on Monday. A lot of people were traveling out and were at Art Basel when this got announced. Turned out to be the biggest crypto/NFT event of 2025. Now, did they know that going into it? No, but by Friday, you knew this was a major moment. All eyes were on Art Basel. They had sucked the attention out of the room. It's a good thing. So when you're announcing something that's important, especially something that you've been working on for 2 years that you got one shot at, you need to be nimble. You need to be flexible. If something else, whether it's Art Basel or another project or another ICO or a chain launches, and they've captured the attention of this space, take a deep breath, change your plans, let them have the attention. And then, you know what? The attention, as we know, is fleeting. wait until they've had their moment, and then just push back your plans a week. I'm not exaggerating. I truly believe had they basically pushed back their entire schedule a week and done this next thing I'm going to show you here differently, I think the outcome could have been differently, because you wouldn't have had like 20, 30% of their OGs claim. That's where this thing went. After they made the OGs could claim two instead of one, the math should have mathed. They could have had 20,000, close to 24,000 of these things claimed by holders, and they could have had any, I guess they could have had almost all 20,000 claimed in the one SOL bucket. So then all 20,000 these are claimed. There's no public, there's none for allow list. So if you want in, you got to buy the 3 SOL one. I think 3 SOL was extremely aggressive. I think it was out of touch with the market, and I think that was also a mistake. But let's just say they screw you, Chris. We know what our art's worth. They're going to price it at 1 SOL and 3 SOL. Okay, cool. You better communicate it better then. If you're going to price it like that on a 25,000 supply in this market, you got to nail everything else from an execution standpoint. You can't make basic 101 level mistakes like this when you're a big brand. I have not raised $54 million. I don't have a team of people around me. I'm a solo entrepreneur who talks on this app. And I know basics. I know 101 level basic stuff like this. I would never announce a big announcement during a major event, a major crypto event that has the attention. Beeple, it was Beeple's week. Let Beeple have his week. Chill the F out. They didn't. They try to go toe-to-toe with Beeple, and then they make the follow-up announcement about the details they send out on Monday at noon when a lot of people are traveling back from that event. So they send this tweet out at noon, 12:24 on Monday. Got 150,000 views. Did great. Did cook. It was a cook. It did numbers. So then a lot of people saw this. 150,000 people saw this. Here's the schedule. Okay, I'm on an OG Doodle. I'm going to claim, well, also it's tomorrow. So, okay, so Tuesday. No date here, by the way. Another mistake. But I am going to be hypercritical actually this morning, because then we're going to move on. So I'm going to be hypercritical, so I hope someone can avoid making these same mistakes in the future. If you're a founder, if you're a team, pay attention. This is easy stuff. This is 101 basic how to use X, the app, to communicate. Put a date there. It's simple. You've got enough characters, put a date. Tomorrow, 12/9, there's the claim. So I'm an OG, or I'm a duplicator holder. Okay, tomorrow on Tuesday, I'm going to log in at 11 o'clock and claim my thing. Cool. I'm going to OG Doodle. I'm going to log in. I got 3 hours to claim tomorrow. That's a pretty tight window, but at least I know I can do it. I'll be on tomorrow. And then I moved on. Then I got on my plane. Then I went about the rest of my day. I go forward. Exclusively on Magic Eden. Okay, whatever. Here's some specs. Collector cubes, 1 SOL, free claim. Okay, still okay, like how many rares are 10x odds? Okay, how many are there? I'd like a little more information there, but whatever. We can give a pass on all that. You don't have to share all the information, although a lot of people are asking, especially now, it's not many now. What does this actually mean? How many rares are there? How many mega doopies are there? I think there's 150 is what I've deduced between other tweets, and I don't know if I've seen an official communication on that. So again, back to the bigger point. The biggest mistake they made from Calm's standpoint on X is they send this tweet out about the mint details. They sent it at 12:24 on a Monday. It cooked. Then at 2:13, not even 2 hours later, they send another tweet out. OG claim loading, 98%. Final reminder, register by 5 p.m. Eastern today? What? Keep in mind, a lot of people are art battles, a lot of people are traveling. I don't know. I mean, apparently you go back and you could saw, or maybe there was another tweet that they said you had to register. This is the first one I saw or became aware of, because other people were talking about it, that you actually had to register. Where do you do that? Oh, you got to go. Here's the whitelist registration. And instantly people said, claim window's too tight. Please, folks, extend it for those in different time zones. Very first comment. This tweet, instead of getting 150,000 views, got 25,000 views because they had another tweet that was cooking. Again, 101 stuff on X. If you have a tweet that's cooking, postpone all your other tweets. No one will see it. Now, you might think, oh, 25,000 is a lot of views. Not when it's being nerfed because you have another one that's got 150,000 views. So it got 1/6 the amount of views. And this was pretty important information. Now, if you messed up and you forgot to include the registration link in your initial tweet, well, you can go back to the other tweet that's already cooking, that already has eyeballs. You can post, don't forget, you can post this in there and you're way better off. Then you can repost it. But you can't bury an important tweet like this that's a key detail after your quote, your post that had mint details, omitting this very important detail in less than 2 hours later. It's just, again, this is a basic rookie level mistake. It's really disappointing. And I think the pricing, the supply, all out of touch with the market. The communications, extremely poor execution. 101 rookie level mistakes. And I do think, had they communicated this better, had they had different cadence, had they let people and Art Basel have its moment, have its week, and decided to push back everything a week, they could have still minted this thing out. Now, a lot of that mint out would have been free claims, and maybe they didn't want that. Okay, here's what you're dealing with then is a supply or collection that's not going to mint out. You're here this morning. It's got 37% minted out. Most of those were free claims. And on the free soul side, 12% have minted out. I think 100 of those were minted by the team. So you got about maybe 500 purchases out of 5,000. Not good. I think if they do the communication correctly and they get all the active participants, all the holders that are eligible to claim, able to claim, then I think they're fine. I think because then you have not 25,000 of these or 20,000 of these things that need to sell. You got like 1 to 5,000 that need to sell. I think the 3 soul box was just absurd. $400 for an NFT mint for a rare. I'd say the 1 soul price is fine. I'd still challenge. I think the 3 soul price was too high. Yeah, again, I don't know what their intentions are here. I don't know if it really was to expand the ecosystem and bring in new users. They didn't do that. I just don't know what they're planning to do. There's evolutions with these things as I read it. Yeah, I don't know. But you didn't know that. Like, that's good information that probably would have inspired more people to buy the mega box because they're guaranteed that 3. We just don't know. And my whole point is like, this is not 21-22. We're not buying things on pure speculation alone. We want more information. I'm not saying that's just me. The market spoke. I truly tried to help. It was taken as FUD and PvP. I wanted to see this thing mint out. I think it would have been good for the space if we had a successful mint from a big brand. Now we're going to see other teams maybe not mint or change their plans because, oh man, if Doodles couldn't mint out, I certainly can't. You can. This isn't the Doodles that we knew and loved. This is an artist who's a very talented artist who I unfortunately do not think he has the proper advisors or team around him. There's good people on that team. I'm not taking shots at everyone. I think they're missing some really key leadership roles. And my other assumption is a lot of these good people on the team, I don't know, but my assumption is they are probably not either they're not comfortable pushing back, or they've done that in the past and they're afraid that if they push back again, they're going to get fired or asked to leave. I don't know. I've never been there. I've never been in those meetings, but my gut feeling is the good people on the team. I'm not saying they're yes men and yes women, but that would be my guess. Sorry, Thomas, appreciate you. Joey, can you do a quick mic check in? I think StreamYard kicked us off, and we should be good now on the mics. Can you just say something? They couldn't hear you for a second.
GM, everyone.
Thomas, on YouTube and on Abstract, can you all let us know if you just heard Joey's GM there? I'm not a pessimist. I'm not a futter. I'm a perpetual optimist. I attempt to see the good in everything. And if I'm going to critique something, same thing I tell everyone else. Listen, if you're unhappy with something I'm doing, if there's something you think I should change, cool, let me know. I want to know if I'm doing something that's wrong or could be improved upon. If I'm doing something that's you think is broken, let me know. I'm never going to change. I'm not going to get better if no one tells me. Both that goes with hosting this show. That goes with any business I've ever built. But if you're going to bring to me a problem, if you're going to bring to me something that you think is broken, I always encourage my team to do this. I don't want a bunch of yes men and yes women around me. I don't want people to tell me how great I am. I want you to tell me what we can do better. If you're going to bring a critique, if you're going to challenge something we're doing, bring with it a potential solution. It may not always be the solution that we enact, but at least bring with it a potential solution. Something that, hey, I don't think this is going great. Here's another idea. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. You're good, Joey. Thanks. I think we got it. Thanks, Jambert and Thomas. Appreciate you for helping crowdsource.
I think Croc should probably recommend not letting Joey come up on stage so much.
What's that?
I said Croc should probably give feedback to not let Joey come up on stage so much.
If we didn't have the Crocs Joey dynamic, I mean, it's like half the fun in the war room. So, as I said yesterday, my if anyone ever asks if I have any diversity in my friend groups, I'm going to say yes. I love Joey and Crocs equally, and they might be polar opposite individuals. It's so funny because my ADHD brain just kicked in on something ADD driven. Like someday we may do a segment on the show we might just call it like Cap's IG algorithm, and we might go through my Instagram feed and my Instagram DMs. Fair warning, Von Front, Dow Jones, Joey, and Crocs, because it is maybe the most eclectic, odd combination of things you could ever imagine. Like it's a one-of-one algorithm. I'll tell you that. It is the most diverse, unique, unrelated things that I get fed in my algorithm. And I think partially because of me, but I think honestly, I think Von Front and Dow Jones, Crocs, and Joey probably have a lot to do with it because of the DMs they send me and the things that lead me to end up liking on the timeline. And they're completely, some of the shit Crocs sends me, I don't know what it means. Like it is like, I don't know. I'm off on a tangent here.
I feel like you're not officially friends until you're friends on Instagram, not just on X. Like that's got to be like standard now.
And if anyone ever wants to be friends on Instagram, I share my Instagram. I share things from Instagram all the time. And if you ever share something, just so if you're another 101 thing, if you're not aware, if you don't want someone to find you on Instagram, don't share from your Instagram because it shows, hey, this person on Instagram just shared this post with you. So yeah, if you ever want to follow me on Instagram, it's just the same handle. It's just Chris Jordan. I don't put it. It's like basically my dog. I haven't posted forever. I just post an occasional story of my dog, and it's Duke's Instagram really, but it's much more my DMs are much more interesting than my actual feed.
It's your dog, and it's usually trips to the coffee shop and big sticks.
Yeah. Yep. Big sticks, not my big sticks, but big sticks in Duke's mouth. Oxy, GM, sir, what brought you up this morning? Feel free to comment on this if you'd like, and then we'll probably move on from the Doopies Mint and talk about some ICOs, some rate cuts, and all other things exciting today.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's probably, it ties into the Doodle stuff, but also I think it's just maybe a broader like learning that I've kind of started to realize for the space. And it's really hard these days to be a team in CT. I recognize that because there's so many different things going on. Like 2021 through 2023, you focused on the NFT market. That's the only thing you really had to care about, to be quite honest. Like There's some DeFi protocols that you had to tap into maybe a little bit, but in reality, you pay attention to NFT markets, you pay attention to NFT mints. You're like, okay, we can do similarly to what this other team did, and that's all the only real benchmark that you had to measure yourself against. Now your capital is so diversified, and there's so many different things that people want to put their and allocate their money to that can earn them really good returns, that like it just, you have so many more things to compete against. You have AI protocols, you have liquidity pools, you have different swap and perp dexes, you have all lending platforms, you have all these different things that you have to pay attention to. And I think it's really hard for people to get a full understanding of the entire market, to appropriately value their projects, to appropriately market their projects, to capture more than just this super niche group of people. And I was having a chat the other day on the timeline with someone, and he's like, yeah, I really only, like, I basically pivoted or like focused myself into the NFT realm since 2021, and I haven't branched out into DeFi. I haven't branched out into other aspects of the crypto ecosystem. And I think that's a lot of people in this space who have just like pigeonholed themselves into one single subsect of the industry, to where they kind of lose sight of everything else. Because the reality of it is, Doodles isn't just competing against other NFT projects. They have to make sure that value, like obviously there's the art and people like art, but they also have to value their 3 Solana that someone's going to spend on their Doodle or whatever it's called, compared to all the other products that they can put their money in and make more money with. Like it's not just a 2-dimensional ecosystem anymore. And I think a lot of teams are missing out on that holistic view of the market. So I think that's where it kind of breaks down, because the quote unquote out of touch wording that we're using for Doodles is probably like the right way to say it. But I also want to recognize, and I came on here super critical. It's really hard to get that holistic view on the entire market to really make an educated decision for these types of things. So I guess my message is, try to broaden yourself, try to broaden your understanding of the ecosystem. If you're a team, bring in people that understand more than just NFTs, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Good take. It's definitely big. You're exactly right. It's not just NFT. It's not just NFT brands. It's not just crypto brands. It's everything right now. You're competing against everything for attention, for liquidity, for mind share. You shouldn't rush this stuff. That I think is the biggest shocker to me. And I promise we will move on after Joey's hand here. You worked on something that clearly is a passion project for 2 years. Why in the world would you rush this? And if things aren't going off smoothly, postpone it. It's not hard. You call the shots. It's your call. It's your baby. Things postponed all the time. Postpone it. Reset. Hey, we realized we were going up against Art Basel. That was a mistake. Hey, we realized we didn't give enough time to get people registered. Unless it was an extractive ploy and they thought they really misread the market and they thought 20,000 of these things would sell at these high prices, you needed to get these in the hands of your holders who've been ardently supporting your brand so much they were attacking everyone that said, not everyone, some of them, the very vocal ones, the very loud ones, were literally attacking people who were raising these concerns. Oh, screw you guys. You're just fudding. Ha ha, make fun, you're still rocking a PFP you paid 10 ETH for. Yeah, people that paid gas for another deed mint are critiquing this mint. Yeah, we are, because we've been around for 3 years and we know what things have changed. This is not 21, 22. You can't do this shit. It seems so obvious. It literally was like we were watching a train wreck in slow motion, tried to share, and we're gonna plow full steam ahead right into this wall of bricks. Joey, go ahead.
Oxy said something that made me think, like, building a business is hard. Like, I can tell you, we're 3 years into building BZ now, and it's hard. And right now, a lot of these a lot of these NFTs that launch into Oxy's point in 21 and 22, like all they had to worry about back then was like community and cool art. That was it. And as this space has grown, the holders and the holders of those projects and just people in general want more. They're, you know, the whole like come in the Discord and just vibe thing doesn't fly anymore as a reason for an NFT to sell out or go to 5 or 10 or 20 ETH. And balancing that, like that idea of, and if anybody watched the Crypto Gorilla video, right, like where he says something in it where he says like, I don't care if your company makes $50 million more as a holder because I don't get any of that. Something like that. That's not an exact quote, but he said something to that effect, right? And it's hard. These companies, these NFT projects that are turned into businesses / companies are trying to figure out, how do I not shut the business of my doors down by generating some type of revenue and continuing to build, while also figuring out how do I continue to reward or give benefits to my holders, while also fighting a falling floor price because the NFT market and the crypto market as a whole is down. And I think it's really difficult. I don't want anyone to think that we're coming up here saying like this is so easy and they just suck at it, because it's not. It's really hard. And what we're starting to see, I think, to Oxy's point, is which of these projects have hired the right people or have the right people in place to make this transition from just like vibe in the Discord and art to a legitimate company, and that is going to be here 5-10 years from now. Like if you would have asked me in 2022, will Doodles be here in 2030? I would have said yes. I was telling everybody I want to buy stock in Doodles, go public. Now I don't even know if they'll be here by the end of 2026, if I'm being honest. And if they are, like, what will the floor price be? 0.1? So, and that's not FUD. I don't know.
So I don't think Doodles is going away. The one thing, I'm sure not the one thing. One of the things that they did that was a great move and doesn't get enough credit, doesn't get talked about enough. I believe it to be a great move. I have no idea what they paid for it. I've never seen their financials. I have no idea what kind of revenue they're generating. But my understanding is Golden Wolf is a real deal cash cow. And that acquisition, theoretically, unless they have some crazy debt service I'm not aware of, but there's a world where they basically, Doodles becomes burnt toast and everyone else gets laid off and the Golden Wolf division continues to thrive and keeps Doodles afloat. Now, is Doodles going to be relevant in crypto Web3? I don't know. I don't think Doodles is going to end. I think Burnt Toast will continue to make Doodles art for probably the rest of his life, but I think they could very well be irrelevant in crypto and Web3 in a year if they don't do something. He needs better people around him that understand. I don't know everyone on the team personally. I'm certain there are some really good people. I think he needs to reevaluate his leadership team, his advisors, and
didn't Golden Wolf also lose some key people last year? Didn't Steve mention?
Yeah, their founder. Their founder, but that happens. That's normal in acquisition. The talent is still there. And I think they're still seemingly doing work for. I don't think Golden Wolf's the issue. I think it's a communications. I think it's a Web3 issue and a lack of leadership with strong business acumen and experience and a deep understanding of crypto and Web3 that will push back on Burnt Toast. And someone said it too. I'm not going to out them, but someone said it seems very obvious to them that people just don't like working for Burnt Toast. You know, we said not too long ago, I might have been Steve that called it a mass exodus. Maybe not. Someone correct me if that was Steve or someone else. But I know there was someone used the word
Steve said it.
It was Steve. Okay, so yes,
use
the words max exodus of people, and it was. There was a mass exodus of talent at the Doodles team. I mentioned it yesterday. Austin, when he was with Doodles, used to be in this space often, like as a listener every day, and not exaggerating, almost any single time we would even mention Doodles, whether he was in the audience or not, within minutes, he'd be on stage talking about it. Like, that is so, like, this isn't a me thing. This isn't a Coffee with Captain thing. This is a Web3 thing. It's a very niche community of active participants. It's not hard to reach almost all of us, but you got to do a media tour. You got to jump on the spaces that are relevant. You got to communicate on X properly. You can't bury important information in a follow-up tweet that's going to get nerfed by your announcement tweet. It's just like, you can't do this stuff. And
I mean, Cap, when he took over as the CEO, we said the same thing about like, when is he going to start jumping on spaces and talking to people? Didn't he only ever do like one?
I don't know. He had an open invite here. He came on the show once before that, I believe. I don't even remember when he was on here.
Yeah, but I spit my coffee out across the room when I read the title this morning. That's all I got to say.
I'm going to change it. I'm not trying to attack. I don't want to make people feel bad either. I feel bad. Like, I genuinely feel bad for people like Maria and Doodles and Jambert, who bought a duplicator because he wanted to mint this thing and didn't realize that, oh, I just basically wasted my money on this duplicator that I can't mint because you had to go register in advance, and I didn't know that. Like, so many people took L's on this because of poor communications, and it sucks.
I think that they could come back and fix this, though. I think that they could reopen up that duplicator situation. There is a way around this to reshape, remold, and re-execute. You know what I'm saying? And maybe not even change the price or anything like that. I'm not saying anything like that, but like where they can honor because there is a lot of people who missed out on this because they weren't paying attention, or they bought the things late. I do think that there is a solution here, and I hope that they reach for that solution.
I don't know, man. I mean, they could attempt to do some things. GM, yeah. They could attempt to do some things. It's just not that easy, man. Momentum is a real deal in this space. And everyone that's not in Doodles, this is like a scarlet letter now. Like, crypto, Web3 has changed. NFT mints are not what they were in 21, 22. But even in the heyday, like, you can't stall out a mint like this. Like, anyone that's not in the Doodles ecosystem is going to look at this right now and be like, I'm not touching this. Because when does this close? In a day and 6 hours. So tomorrow, after this mint closes, these are going to be trading for far below mint price. We just know that. Like, are there some things they could do? Yes. Could they go back and attempt to get some more of these in the hands of their diehard community members? They could, and they should. There's almost, I don't want to say zero. They could do things with treasury. They could have some whales do some stuff. Like, there's some ways to, I'll just say it, manipulate the mint, make it look better than it is. But anyone who's been here and understands the mechanics of these things and understands NFT mint momentum, they're not touching this thing with a 10-foot pole. They're just going to wait until after mints. Even like, I like the art. I like to play the Pokemon game and figure out what they're doing. I was interested. I'm not paying one soul for it because I know I'm near certain that I'm going to be able to scoop these things for probably 0.1 soul in a day or two a week. Yeah, they could have.
That's my take too.
Go ahead.
That's my take too. I was on a space the night before, and there was a bunch of guys talking about this, and they asked me my opinion. I was going to keep it to myself, but they asked me. So, I mean, I shared, because I think some of them were newer to NFTs. I shared kind of the longer timeline of Doodles first, because I think it's important to understand history. They were kind of defending and talking about why people were dunking on the timeline and being just even like giving criticism. And I said, well, first off, you guys have to remember that, I mean, I know when I got in this space, Doodles were trading at 8 to 12 ETH regularly, and you couldn't touch a rare or even certain trades for less than, 15, 18, 20 ETH. And then there was like this very dark period where they didn't communicate at all. What was it? What was the tweetless spree? Because we were talking about it on coffee. Like, dude, Doodles haven't tweeted in like a year or something straight.
It got so much. It was like people were creating content about, like, I remember Girl in the Verse, if you're out there this morning, Melania, was doing like a weekly bit, maybe a daily bit on, it's been X days since Doodles tweeted. Like, it became.
Oh, yeah. It was like more content about them not creating content.
Yes. It literally became a meme because they went silent for so long.
Wasn't that from like summer of 2022 to like summer of 2023?
Yeah, it was like a year, Joey, 100%. Because like me, you, Steve, Cap, we were on here like Riggs. I mean, it was like hard to believe at that point that there was no comms. And then, look, Doodles started to make a pivot and things started to get a lot better. Steve joined the team for a little bit. They started to they did the camp activation. They started to do a bunch of stuff. Then Austin came in, but something happened and something broke because, then Julian was gone. 6 months later, Austin's gone. And like there were, at that point, I was curious if it was, the like Julian team executing or if it was BT, and BT took it back with aggression, right? There was, I think, a token launch right after this whole AI thing. And there was like a lot of aggression, but I don't know, for a while, the direction to me was very confusing. Somebody had asked me genuinely, hey, what do you think of Doodles? And I said, well, I mean, dude, the art's legendary. But I just don't know what it is, right? Besides an IP that's collaborating, and those collabs are not, low-hanging fruit, but they're also not like, it's not going to move anything if they're not building community. I mean, the reality is you build community on spaces in Discord and personal relationships. Like I have relationships with most of the holders. That makes a huge difference. And just even treating them as humans makes a big difference. I just saw one of my friends.
This is not exaggeration. Not exaggeration. I'm not glazing you because they're on the stage. I'm gonna. This has been a big week for them. A major milestone. Something they've been working on for 2 years, without knowing. Just knowing what I know about what I've seen from comms and how many times I've heard from Bertos or seen him on the timeline, or my understanding of how often he communicates directly, not just a Discord post, but actually communicates one-on-one with his holders, his base, and knowing Poppy and having seen him do it. I'm going to guess that Poppy, over the past week, during this lead up to a major milestone moment, has probably communicated directly with his holder base, his supporters, more than Bertos has done since inception of Doodles. Not an exaggeration. And
it's just practice. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like, it's just what I do, right? And I don't want to compare, of course. I appreciate that. And I will say this, like, one of my really good friends, he's been my friend for almost 10 years. He loves Doodles. He actually loves Doodles far more than Quirkies. And I've like just watched him and his passion for a long time. Last week, he puts up a tweet, and he's been in Doodles for like over almost 2 years. Last week, he puts up a tweet, "Mom, I made it. I finally got the follow from Burnt Toast." I think it was, and this isn't me dunking. I was just shocked. I was like, I actually commented on it and said, this is just happening now? Because I don't see a ton of Doodle stuff on my timeline. I see Maria, I see Dude Lifts, I see Spencer and many others who really are great it's great to see their content. But like, I was like, man, like, to me, this is how I look at it. And this isn't just the Doodles thing. This is just how I see it. If the space is not as big, not as many participants, people are being a lot more careful about where they deploy ETH or what projects they're involved in. And we're not investing in leaning into the community aspect. It's a dying brand. That's just how I genuinely feel. Every day I wake up and one of the first things that I do is check all the chats, see what's going on, see if there's an issue, see if there's a question. Because I don't know, it's just, to me, it's important, but I don't know if you can teach that or fake it. Because there's some people who just like, look, I have a friend who has like 800 unread texts on his phone. That's just how he is. That doesn't bother him. That's the norm. Dude, I have anxiety if I have one unread text. Seriously, like I'm like super OCD with that stuff. I check Telegram, WhatsApp, all my XDMs, my texts, my emails. But like Cap, I just think that there's some people who care about the actual core communication with the network and the community of their project. And then there's other founders who genuinely just don't think that they need to do that. Maybe their community, they hire community managers to do that. And whether that's a flaw or a feature, I'm not sure. But to me, the minute that a founder gets too big for the things that actually got them where they are, that's where I'm lost. That's where I've shipped a lot of NFTs the last year, because I was in trenches with some of these founders when they were, lower floor prices, or they had no engagement, none of this. They're coming on here, they're coming on Spaces, and then all of a sudden, blows up. They don't want to communicate anymore. They barely ever show up in the community. To me, that's a flaw, not a feature. I don't think that exclusivity is a feature in this space, because we talk about community. Yeah, we have to build, and there's times you have to turn off your phone and just put your head down and go. But I don't know, man. To me, just to summarize, I looked at the Doopies mint, and there were several flaws that, somebody asked me yesterday, did you mint? I'm like, no, because I probably will go buy them, but this is set up for a better secondary buy than a mint, in my opinion, because of the price and because of a few things. Number one, no reason to do this on Solana.
Well, yeah. So I'll defend that. I think the reason, I'm guessing, I'm speculating. Again, we don't know all the information. I agree with you. However, I think my belief, my speculation as to why they were doing it on Solana is part of the evolution process is going to require Dude, which is on Solana. And so I think the first mistake was probably launching Dude on Solana.
Correct.
But since Dude is on Solana, I think they felt they had to go to Solana because that's going to be part of the mechanics for these things, is my guess. I don't know. But why not share that up front? Why not let people know what it's going to cost to go from a level 1 to a level 3? That way, like Joey said, now I know it's going to cost me 50,000 Dude, which is the equivalent of 5 Sol. So it's better to buy the 3 Solana box to make sure I get one of those. No one knows. You're asking for a 2 Sol premium, and we don't know what we're getting other than slightly rare art.
Yeah, and that leads to my next point, because
but that doesn't even matter. You can do cross-chain payments and cross-chain checks. So it's that thesis of we had to launch on Solana because that's where Dude is makes no sense. You could pay again, I'm not here to shill Beezy, but you can go on Beezy and pay with 10 different chains and 100 different cryptos, and we're on Flow.
Yes.
You don't have to be on Sol if you want Dude tied to the evolution.
I agree with that. And NFTs on Sol, Cap, it's Klanos, and I couldn't even, if you gave me a briefcase with $1 million.
It's Klanos, Mad Lads, and SMB. And then you got D-God still hanging on.
Yeah, maybe I know Mad Lads are Ben Strong, and there's just not something on my algorithm, and that's a flaw of X. But you give me a briefcase, I'd be like, but I couldn't name 5. I could probably name 3.
What is the fact? What is the fact on Solana is there is not a single NFT collection with a supply of 25,000 that has a 1 Sol floor or greater. Not a single primary collection of 25,000 that has a floor price of 1 Sol or greater. So to launch a secondary collection, or I think it's a third collection, in my humble opinion, it's not
It is.
To launch that on Solana and have a 1 to 3 Sol price, it is insanely out of touch. People are defending the mint price.
So that's one part. I think the mint price is questionable. I definitely would not. If they were on ETH, they would have done better. I don't know if it would have minted out, but the perpetual momentum, when a mint is moving, people are watching. They make a decision if they're going to jump in based on the momentum, and if they see the momentum stops, it stops, and it stops abruptly. And we've seen it a million times. I just think it would have done better on ETH. Here's the bigger I don't know, misjudgment, we'll call it, was doing it on Magic Eden. Magic Eden is not the marketplace.
Well, it's because they had to do it because of Solana. So the one decision led to another poor decision.
Correct. That's what it's, and when you look at that and you bundle it, to me, that was the biggest recipe for failure, because Magic Eden has been clunky. Like, I used to be a raving fan of Magic Eden. I even fully supported when Quirky's blocked all the other marketplaces and went strictly to Magic Eden.
They almost put the last nail in OpenSea's coffin, and then
they were very close.
Happened, but they dropped the fucking
no.
ball.
But Mac, Magic Eden, and they will probably tell you this, so this is not news. Their model is pivot to the volume. That is their model. They've literally told me that. Like that, they did this whole ETH marketplace thing, and it was like, you know, they made projects sign exclusivity contracts. Like there was something in place saying if you block OpenSea, blah, 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 right? So there was, when you do that, there's a clear intention to build the Ethereum ecosystem. And at the time, OpenSea just wasn't doing anything. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do this. Big marketing, Bored Apes, this, that, the other. And then a month later, it's Runes and Ordinals, and then it's a bunch of other stuff. They pivoted and stopped even building the ecosystem. So anyway, like NFTs on Magic Eden, nope, I'm good, not touching it. This mint was on OpenSea, would have been more successful. So like that stuff, but here's the icing on the cake for me. OG Doodle holders should have got one for free. The whole, if there was a free claim, because there was no free claim. If there was a free claim or an airdrop, we would not be having this conversation. 25,000 or not, we would not be having this conversation. If every single OG Doodle got a free Doopie.
Well, they did. They could claim two. The problem is they communicated so poorly. A lot of people.
No, but they have to pay, don't they?
No, they could have claimed a free one. They could have claimed two free ones. But
I was looking on the Mint website, and that's the other problem.
Again, it was all communicated really poorly. The two claim was an after the fact. It was I will give, I guess, a little bit of credit for listening to the feedback. Is originally it was just going to be one claim per OG Doodle, one claim per duplicator. They changed it to like the night before Mint. Burnt Toast in a tweet that said, OGs can now claim two, and this will be the last character art I ever put on chain.
Wait, hold on. So, see, that's if you go to that Mint page,
but he made that announcement after the OG pre-registration had already closed.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. I saw the tweet, but it was still confusing. And if you go to the Mint page and you look at it, to me, it looks like, first off, I don't know how many minted, but yesterday it was like around 8,000. So if that includes the free claim, that's even more tragic than I thought. But on the Magic Eden Mint page, it looks like OG holders paid one soul. So like when I was on there looking, I'm like, why are they paying for this? So it's but that's like a Magic Eden thing too. It's a UI. When there's UI confusion, the UX is broken. You know, the user experience is not going to work. It's a shame because Doodles is like, look, to me, these brands are very pivotal to the future of Web3. So I'm not excited about any project doing something that, you know, is perceived as a negative because it hurts people, right? And when people are hurt, they stop buying NFTs. Like we have a great holder who lost 60 grand in a meme coin, and he's like, man, I'm just thinking about leaving Web3. It's a great holder, great contributor. And I'm like, dude, stuff like that sucks. Because every time somebody gets hurt really bad, they leave. But I will say this, like to me, some teams, you have to have a better pulse, like finger on the pulse of the market and your public relation current standing. Because this like secretive stuff, it's detrimental to not communicate properly if your brand is already like on eggshells for the overall total broader space. And Creeps yesterday put out this like cryptic message, and they got a little momentum, a couple people sweeping, and I love Creeps, but like they're hurting a lot. And it's mainly because of the project not communicating, not doing spaces really ever, and not meeting deadlines. And like, dude, last week it was bad. Like there was holders that were, I mean, it was bad. I won't share what happened, but it was really, really bad. And like this week they put out this like cryptic message that you have to like, you know, it's in a different language and you have to try to like, I mean, there's a time and place for that. Sometimes the brand just has to come out and communicate. Just be transparent, good, bad, or ugly. People will appreciate that more than trying to, you know, disassemble this crazy coded message that just says, hey, we're doing a mint. We're about to, you know, launch a token or something. Like, we know what's coming. Just be honest and just be transparent. And I think, to your point, Cap, that's part of the problem here is like, okay, let's throw up a tweet. No, do a couple spaces, let people hear your voice, let people hear your plan, let people hear the passion. That's half the battle.
Here's what we're gonna do. We've already given this way too much airtime. I have 2 requests. Actually, I have 3 requests. We're gonna do this. Mr. C jumped up on stage. I have a feeling he wants to talk about Doodles. Hold on a second. Hold up.
You know.
Hold up.
You definitely know.
Hold up. I'm gonna give you the mic. We're gonna talk. You're gonna take it wherever you'd like, and then we're moving on. So this is the last speaker on Doodles. We have to move on. I have a few requests. I'm dead serious. 1, from this day forward, we never ever disrespect Good Vibes Club by calling them 3D Doodles. From this day forward, if you want to make that tie-in, you can call Doodles the 2D Good Vibes Club. But we are not disrespecting that team who is moving flawlessly through the space. Don't unmute your mics. I got to get this rain off my chest. And then we're going to Mr. C, and then we're moving on. Never again disrespect Good Vibes Club by calling them 3D Doodles. If you want to make that joke, you can call Doodles the 2D version of Good Vibes Club. The team is moving flawlessly, and they should not be drugged down to this experience we've witnessed over the past week. 2, related, we're going to hit on it here in a bit. Jambert jumped up on stage. Congratulations on the new gig, by the way. I'm excited to talk about that a little bit. It is related. I pinned up a post up top. We're going to, Jambert's going to kind of talk us through this action if you're following along another project. Also, maybe related, we have a special guest joining us tomorrow. I pinned up tomorrow's post up top. If everyone could do me a favor and go hit the reminder on tomorrow's space, it's 1 in from the left. Those things may or may not be related.
The emoji in that post giving away who the special guest
How
is.
hard is it to stay on mute for like 30 seconds? Let me finish my rant, and then you can say whatever you want. Sorry, I need to go take a mobile stream drop and get a coffee, and I'm about to piss myself if you want to know the real truth. And you distracted me. Like, we use hands here. We are a civilized show sometimes, unless I get on a Doodles rant and they get under my skin. I'm literally sweating. I need to pee. I'm sweating. I got to take off my hoodie, and I got a lot of really people I love, but all of us are not the most succinct people. I'm calling a spade a spade. We like our rambling. Point it back together here.
Captain, go down a pee, man. Go down a pee.
I give up. Mr. C, take the mic. Last comment. I did have one more. This kind of nails it. Meta, OX Meta. Bodoggos, they're cooking in every aspect of Web3. They have a daily show. They have as much attention as anyone in the space. One of their founders is quite literally the most viral character of 2025. Not just crypto Twitter, all of X, I have Nick muted on X. I like Nick. It's not my thing. It's not my form of comedy. I don't necessarily find it funny. And I get duped by fake news enough to where anyone that has an account based on fake news or fake things, I just mute. It's how I curate my timeline. The only one I haven't muted is Camel, but I don't know why. Anyways, I truly like Nick. It's just not the sort of content that I'm into. But I absolutely respect the guy is slaying it. Like, time and time, not once, not twice, multiple times, he's went super viral. So much so that when I see the viral post, it's like the one time a week I log into Facebook, and the first thing I see is someone on there that's got duped by a Nick post, and they think it's real about a fake girlfriend or something. And it's like, he's went uber viral multiple times this year. They are dialed in as you could possibly be. They have a successful media franchise. They're all over this timeline, and their floor price of their primary collection is 1.5 SOL. We don't need to say anything more about the price point of this mint. It's just, it was very out of touch with reality of Solana NFTs. All right. Mr. C, the mic's yours. GM, take it wherever you'd like.
Yeah,
I'll
GM,
probably be back.
Captain,
If you're
GM,
not...
Yeah, well, Captain, you know what? You see my posts and stuff, but where do I start? So I'll start off with the nice fact. I've always been a Doodle guy. I've always been part of Doodles. I still hold Doodles, still hold duplicators. Up until yesterday, most of the mints, most of the airdrops that Doodles had done were flawless, and they were good. And I can't knock them from that. Now, what I really resent is however they've been thinking about this new drop, somebody's dropped the ball and lost the plot. Like, for example, yesterday, I was, as a person, being told, yeah, go and look at the Discord. It's all the answers there. Now, I looked at the Discord. I personally didn't understand it. Communications were all over the place. I don't know if they went online to talk to people. I don't know if they came on your show to talk to people. I don't know what happened, but they were expecting people to mint within a couple of hours. That's not even happening. I was reaching out to people that I know to say, oh, do you know about the Doopies? Because a lot of people in the community have just lost interest completely. Now, I think they need to understand this. I don't understand what's going on with this norm of being secret and not telling the community what's going on. It just doesn't wash. It's so boring. It's like they're trying to create hype or not create hype. I don't want to act like I'm bashing them, but I really want to reach out to the guys and say, guys, you know, as a community holder, as a doodle holder, what are you guys doing? It's completely disheveled. Now, one point that I would say, and not everybody's going to like this, but I'm going to say it. Since they've lost Julian and Austin and a couple of the other guys, it's become a shambles. I don't know who's leading what. I know Burnt Toast is the leader, but he's the leader in the artwork, in the direction of art. That's what he does. He's amazing at doing that. Can't knock what he does. But as for who's leading the communication, who's leading where we're going, what are we doing, nobody knows. And it almost looks like they don't really care about the community. That, for me, is kind of like, it really hurts in the sense that, you know what, we don't really care about you guys. Do what you're doing, buy what you buy, but we don't really care. Now, I'm going to
did you pre-register? Did you get yours?
I did pre-register. I did. I've got like Doodles and I've got duplicators. So personally speaking, I don't even know what state I'm in. Personally. So I registered. I put my Solana thing there. And to be honest, it should have been easy because the same Solana address is the same Solana address that I got for Dude. So in theory, it should be a straightforward register and something should appear in your wallet. I don't know where I'm at the moment. And if I'm thinking like this, and I like to class myself as a savvy person, yeah? If I'm thinking like this, I know for a fact, looking in the Discord, there's a lot of people thinking like that. Now, when we're in the 25th century or whatever you want to call it, why wouldn't you think to go live and help the community? What is so difficult? Why are you sending community members to go and look at the Discord, to look at what we've posted? How dumb is that? I don't really get it. Is it that difficult to go on an X and say, guys, you know, we're going live. Let's go live. Let's play some music. Let's all do this. Have they lost that plot? Do they not know where all this came from? It's not changed. Why couldn't they have done that? I don't understand it.
Yeah,
it's literally, I'm at that point where I'm questioning what is the point of holding the doodles outside of the fact that I like the artwork, which is cool, right? I got a doodle, I got the artwork, I got a nice little doodle chain, but I'm thinking now, guys, you know what? What's the point? Because they don't communicate really that well, so I don't even know what's going on. So what's the point? Normally, you hold an NFT because, yep, you love the artwork and you see what people are doing and what they're trying to do. There's no communication. And people might, some people, right, which I would actually not call out names, are literally up people's asses instead of really just calling out the truth. Oh, yeah, this is all grand. This is all fantastic. What we're doing is all great. It's literally posting. What I'm seeing is posting of great images, but with no substance. Yeah? It can't all be a secret. Why? That's not working. It does not work in our new world. Keeping things a secret. We want to know what's going on. We want to know what we want to support. I'm always, you know, not always, but on a Saturday, I'll log into the guys, listen to what they're saying, but it's all faff, nonsense. And this is probably the biggest rant I've had, but I'm telling you, it's absolute nonsense. Guys need to buck up on their communication, man. If they need someone to help, just call my name and I'll help them. But at the moment, this is nonsense.
I don't think they want help. I think
Captain, I'm surprised they didn't even go on Captain's show. What changed that they didn't suddenly come on the show and talk about what they were doing?
They don't like me because I shared some constructive feedback.
Bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. They can't just say, "Oh, we don't like you." Oh, maybe Captain's Steve's not around, so we're not gonna go. That's bullshit. This is how we do things. This is how I always knew what was going on, either from your show or some of the other shows. So all of a sudden, oh, we don't like Captain because he's not eating our ass. I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to sound like that, but that's not. I'm really pissed off.
You're fair to be pissed off. If you don't want to call Doodles the 2D version of Good Vibes Club, you can also call them you.
No, you know what? I'm pissed off with myself for selling my Good Vibes. I sold the Good Vibes. I should have sold it. Should have kept it. But you know what? It's not even about that. It's about guys. I think you said something in one of your things. The road show. The road show does not change. You need to go on the show. Call up a captain, call up the other guys. Guys, you know what? I know you might not think what we're doing, but you know, we're coming up to explain what we're doing, what's working, you know, build the momentum, build the hype. What, you're too good to do that now? And you know what? I'm not calling out Burnt Toast, but I know it's certain things about personalities. Burnt Toast is brilliant at art, but he's not out there as somebody who wants to be on stage all the time. And I understand that. Because maybe that's not his thing, and that's respectable. But put someone else in that position that can do that. The guys in that position, the position that are in at the moment, I don't think they're doing that. Now, I know Dude Lift is trying to do his thing, but for me, it's not working. He's good at what he does. But if he's not if you're not going to put him as the front leader and he's done it, then somebody has to be. Right? But at the moment, I can't see that person. So I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs thinking, oh, what are we doing now? You know, I made a couple of videos, right? You must have seen them, Captain. And I was having fun with those videos. But you know, the joke of it is, I did it in AI. And you know what? It took me about 15 minutes with music, with vocal, and with sketch. So we're talking about, oh, we're going to drop this beautiful AI thing for Doodles and da-da-da-da. AI's moving so fast that when you drop your thing, it's going to be, oh, is that what you guys are doing now? It's too easy. We could have dropped a Doodles AI dreamscape doing all the things 6 months ago. It might not have been perfect, but we would have had feedback to improve on it. Vibe coding and all that stuff is so easy now that everybody's doing it, and you can do it. So just release the damn thing. Why are you hiding it? Captain, back to you, man, because I'm on a rant today, and I want to rant. I've got a headache now.
No, good to hear from you. Appreciate you jumping up this morning. I was not, if you saw video and saw me laughing, I was not laughing at you. The War Room won this morning. They got me, and it happens from time to time. We are going to move on, though. Appreciate everyone joining and sharing their thoughts and news. You might mute your mic, though. I get some feedback, Mr. C. You also, a telltale sign that we are absolutely back is when meme accounts want to clout chase. We've got the one and only cocaine meme was trying to get on stage this morning. I hear it's a hell of a drug, but not recommended, especially in the fentanyl era. Like, don't. This is health advice. Don't do that. OG Good Media says Jack Butcher talks to his community way more, and people give him shit. Maybe he also had he was kind of the talk of the town next to people at Art Basel. I think Jack's doing a good job, and not everyone's going to like it, but he very much still seems to be extremely relevant. And I think these two things are not the same. Him and Jaleel were on the show floor from sun up till sundown at Art Basel, talking with everyone that came by that booth. It's apples to oranges. These aren't the same. All that said, Jambert, hard pivot here. Joey, sorry, you're gonna have to hold any more thoughts on Doodles. Can't do it.
No, it's not Doodles. Do you know how we claim our actual receipt NFT?
Yeah. What is that?
No. No idea.
Because I have I have the email that says I bought the receipt, but I don't. Do we get an actual NFT with it?
There should be a seed phrase on the bottom of the receipt. That's how you claim it. I don't know the exact instructions.
Oh, so you just start a new wallet with that seed phrase.
Correct. Yeah, it was new tech. New tech. They used the basically it was a yeah, exactly. Everyone who minted that thing, you got a new wallet with that NFT in it. Hard pivot. Jamber, GM, congrats on the new gig. You said you start later this month. If you're still with us, Jamber, check 1, 2.
Yo, I'm here.
Hey,
Yeah.
GM, congrats on the new gig.
GM, thank you, GM. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I start here 22nd. Yeah, very grateful.
We will miss you around Coffee with Captain. You have to hit the replay, but well deserved. Now you've been getting after it and excited for you. Big congrats.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I'll hop in if I can. Depending on what's going on that day. So yeah.
So let's talk about Neuko, not because it's the part of the mass exit of the Doodle leadership team that all started this Neuko company, but there is actually some action that people, if you're following along, if you have a badge, you have until 3 p.m. Eastern by tomorrow to take this action that Jambert's going to talk through here in a second. And then also the other action you want to take is head up top, scroll 1 in from the left, and smash the reminders for tomorrow's show. We will be having a special guest joining us from Dubai. Jambert, what do we need to know? Whether, I guess this primarily would pertain to those that have a badge. If there's anyone who doesn't have a badge yet, that's my first question. Is there anything they could do to get involved, or they just need to wait? Could they go buy a blind box and get involved in this somehow? Or for those that, I guess, let's rewind. What is Neuko? What's going on? Can you give us a TLDR? And then those two questions, if someone doesn't have a badge, is there anything they can do? And then for the badge holders would be the second question, what do they need to do before 3 o'clock tomorrow?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think anybody knows what's going on. but no, as a holder, so initially they distributed was it a moth and a rabbit badges, and those you could hold them or sell them, and then at that point those holders were distributed snake badges, and to people who were active in the community, doing AI art or just art in general, just supporting Neuko. You could hold them, you could sell them, you could do whatever you want with them. But they are very AI driven. They are previous, a couple of them are previous Doodles, from my understanding. But there's a lot of unknowns. They got this little character called G Boy, and the AI it's pretty on point. I mean, it's hard to tell if it's AI or not, But so what's going on is they dropped the thing 48 hours. It's a wallet address. You could send your badges to this address, and we don't know what's going to happen. There's a website. It's gboyspecial.com, and it shows you how many badges you have present before you send it off. There's a creations if you've submitted any kind of art or anything supporting the project. So there's badges, creations, X Hustle, which it states tracking on mine, and then you could buy the blind boxes. So the blind boxes were they started at $100, and they're 6-inch figures. So, and this updates every 15 minutes from the website. So they are always saying we're watching. We don't know what's going to happen. You send these badges to this unknown wallet that right now I looked it up. There's like 561 transfers. So that's kind of a bit of it. I mean, there's still a lot of unknowns.
And I know this is like polarizing because I've been talking about like the frustrations of the unknowns with this Doodles man, but this is exciting. This is different. Like the things are not the same. And I don't there is unknowns. Yes. There is some speculation. Yes. But this is new. This is very different than I truly feel, I mean, I'm not, this last time I mentioned the name, I promise, I'm not going to go back to the Doodles conversation, relitigate that. This is not the 21-22 playbook. This is not an NFT mint speculation. I mean, maybe it is. It's just different. Like, so everything Jammer just described, I have it pulled up here. Please read carefully. Turn your badges in to this address by tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. Please note, once you send your badges, you will lose access to Holder Telegram for the time being. This is a feature, not a bug. You have 48 hours. That's a quote tweet from this one here. Get tier on G Boy special. 48 hours. That's all we know now. Like,
there is a countdown. There is a countdown on that website. So I'm looking at the countdown now. So it is a countdown. Yeah, it's like, the more creations, the more, X hustle for say. And if you buy boxes, what do you, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I could sell what I have and either buy what, hold it or whatever, or do you send it in and, be faithful to the project and hold it, just say, oh, well, just hopefully something works out. It's kind of a gamble.
I enjoy the game theory. I enjoy the gamble. I said yesterday, one of my core memories of like a hard decision I had to make in crypto Web3 was do I burn my Punks comic first edition for a Founders DAO pass? It was amazing. Like, there are two alternative paths. No one really knew what but like, that's very different than, do I want to mint this thing for 1 or 3 Solana when I don't know what I'm getting? Like the gamification, the experimenting on chain, the doing new things on chain, not the same tired playbook that doesn't work anymore. This is not 21. It's not 22. The NFT mania is over. There's still a lot of excitement. There's still a lot of incredible stuff happening in crypto and on chain. And arguably it's in a better spot than it's ever been before, but it is not an NFT mania. You can't just drop a 25K collection and think you're going to mint out because of speculation or vibes, or, you had something successful in the past. That's not happening. You could drop a 25K mint tomorrow for 1 to 3. So it's probably not minting out. Like, people aren't doing that on vibes and speculation or art alone anymore. But we'll play games. We'll experiment. We want to see new things. And this is different. Like, I also saw some people that, you got, if you didn't give away your snake, I think it was, then you might not have been eligible for this section. You got people like Zombie Rob here, who's got his mutant with the Neuko, I may even say it wrong, cape on, and he said goodbye to my rabbit yesterday with some of that AI art. Like, the team is moving pretty well. Is there?
Yeah, it's very different. It's very, very different. And I'm having fun with it, and many others are having fun. The community is getting involved. They're creating stuff. It hits different, 100%.
It's different. They're having fun. Is there unknown? Is there some speculation? Yes, but it's not because the team is just hiding and not talking and not communicating. It's part of the game. Do we know what's in the blind box? Well, we know that there is, I'll pull up the screen here in a second. We have some information. We don't need everything, but I've also seen some people like, oh, well, using this as a comparison about the 1 to 3 soul price. Like, oh, well, blind box have been selling for as much. I'm like, not really. It's just apples to oranges. I mean, the bird blind boxes were $25. I don't remember, but the flog boxes were, I think, less than $100 as well. Here, this box contains a random 6x6 inch vinyl G Boy statue in 1 of 5 rarities. Box costs $99, so not 1 soul, less than 1 soul. And it comes with a physical. You know what you're getting. Oh, by the way, this is also a new project, a new brand, a new company. I'm not saying there's ever going to be a TGE or a token or a future NFT mint. We don't know, but we know
there is a token cap. They announced a token.
So we know there's a token coming. So will there be allocation for these boxes? Maybe, maybe not. But we know it's earlier in their life. It's easier for a new startup brand to bake in some speculation and have some fun with that than it is for an established brand that's been around for 3 years. It's already dropped their token. It's already dropped the secondary collection, third collection. Like, it's just, you only can do so much, right? There's more on the come. Whereas some of these established brands, they've already You can't do those things twice. So we kind of know that stuff's not coming. I'll finish this statement here that we made this box and the thing in it because we wanted to exist, and we're excited to have G Boy on in our homes. Cool. Again, without sharing all the details and going too deep in this, if you have questions, click those links up top. Do me a favor, make sure you hit that reminder one in from the left. Joey, go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't remember who said in the war room, but when their friend did not give their snake away, which was one of the instructions when you received your snake, and they actually got blocked. Like, so when they logged, he showed a screenshot where when they went to gboyspecial.com, the section where it shows you like your rankings and what you hold, his actually says blocked in all the sections because he didn't follow the instructions of gifting the snake away, which is why people are assuming if you don't, like, there's like, you know, they're assuming there's a connection that if you don't send your badges in and you don't, quote unquote, follow the instructions, you might end up like the people who didn't gift their snakes and get blocked. The other thing too is they did announce a leaderboard, and the leaderboard is connected to the TGE. So you do get points for purchasing the blind box for the leaderboard, and then you get points for all the content you create and share regarding Neuko and G Boy for the leaderboard. So not only are the badges probably going to get you something at TGE, but your active participation by utilizing the AI tools they've built out, you know, this brand building tools or whatever they're calling it. You got to do all of that if you want to have the most, I guess, get the most points for the leaderboard to hopefully get the most from the TGE.
Yeah. New, novel, may not be your thing. If you didn't share your snake like they told you to do, or your badge like they told you to share, if you didn't give it to someone else, and you're not able to participate or not able to get in on the, I can understand you're a little frustrated, but they were pretty. I mean, they telegraphed it. They told you what to do, and I think even so much as far as said, like, if you don't do this, you may regret it. And those people aren't out. And like, they may not be able to participate. If they can, if they're blocked, whatever, the floor on these things is still 4.3387 SOL for the snakes. The butterflies it's a floor of 7.1 SOL, and the rabbits are 17 SOL.
Moth.
Sorry. It's new. It's different. They're having fun. They're experimenting. Clearly, those that are participating are having fun, experimenting. It's different. What comes of it? I don't know. I genuinely appreciate new stuff. I'm not saying you don't forget things that worked in the past, but some things that worked in the past very clearly aren't working anymore. And the space is very, very different from the NFT mania. Very different. NFTs aren't going anywhere. They should be a part of what you're building. I just don't think the days where you can have a 10 or 20 or 25,000 NFT mint without any details is it. It's not. You got to do something different. You got to activate your community. You got to give them some fun stuff to do. You got to gamify it and force some tough decisions. Do I burn this thing? Do I not burn this thing? I don't even know if it's a tough decision because it's what they want you to do. And it's back to one of the posts, like, do you trust us? You know, it's like they're setting this up about as telegraphed and what they want you to do without telling you everything. And I'm enjoying following along, and again, looking forward to a deeper dive tomorrow on this. Random, go ahead. It looks like you've been playing the game, huh? GM,
long-time listener, first-time speaker.
Thanks.
Yeah. Neuko has definitely been shaking things up a little bit here, and yeah, exactly to your point. The team has been very open about the steps that they're going to be taking, although it being worded cryptically. They are telling you, like, hey, this is what's wrong with the space. We don't like it. We're going to fix it. And right out of the beginning, you had early supporters who just like saw Austin tweet out something, was like, hey, be ready if you want to be in, like this tweet, interact, show some kind of interest. Those were the people that were airdropped the moth and the rabbit badges. After that happened, the community started getting a little bit more active. And then when the snake badges came out, those active community members like myself were gifted those by the original airdroppees. Now, like you were saying, the badges for this tracker that's going on right now on G Boy Special is, if you didn't follow the directions, you are in fact blocked. However, the blind box and the creations on G Boy Special, which is honestly way cheaper than any of the other AI image generators, and it is actually far more consistent. If you end up generating something with 3 arms, you're like, hey, remove 1 arm, and it listens and it keeps the rest of the image the same. I know we've all had that experiment on ChatGPT and Gemini, and we put in 1 image and we say, keep the image the same, and then it gives us a different image. And by the end of it, we're out with some Picasso kind of thing. That's not the case with the G Boy Special. Now, when we're talking about the creations and the blind box, those were just point modifiers to this season, and they already called it season 1. So what's stopping us from having a season 2, 3, 4, et cetera, et cetera? What is being built is mainly based on AI, and yes, with the coin being teased by every exchange, like heavily, and Zeet is out there with it. There is a tournament that you can be a part of. It's not an official tournament, so you can't gamify it and try and win something. It's just to track who's the loudest in the community.
By the way, on that note, sorry, quick interjection.
Yep.
Don't try to gamify Zeet. If you're trying to gamify Zeet with AI slop, you're going to get nerfed. They're doing it. It's pissing a lot of people off who are the AI slop artists for info.
100%. I love Zeet about that. 100%. Do not try and gamify this community. We will see it 100%. There's been people in our GCs that have been trying to get badges, and you can see it. Like, you can see the people who are coming in, and then they're like, well, I'm in this terrible situation. It's like, bro, we're all in some kind of bad situation. Today's society kind of sucks. So while we get that, you can still earn by creating something and just being involved. You don't have to have the badge. That was the entire point that they kept trying to make. You didn't have to have the badge. The badge was the main, like, what was to get you into the TG, really, in the beginning here. And realistically, we don't know the full scope of what they're doing, but it is just, I guess my point is just be involved with this project and community to be involved in it. That's it. Their main point from the beginning is AI slop, InfoFi crap, farmers and cheaters and people who are just extracting. That's what they didn't want anymore. They're tired of it, and it's affecting us as a whole. Okay. And I think what they're doing is building in some way to help fix it. I'm not going to say they're going to fix it altogether, but it's a damn good start. Thanks for having me up.
No, thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. Unrelated, but I just happenstance went to check my Zeet profile, and somehow I'm not sure if I should like this or take offense to this. I really don't know what to make of it. But the similar vibes on my Zeet profile, it's making me feel a sort of way, and I don't know which way it's making me feel. But my similar vibes are Iggy Azalea, Cardi B, Neil Patrick Harris, 5 Seconds of Summer, and Paris Hilton. What am I possibly doing or saying that gives off similar vibes of Iggy Azalea? I guess I could get, but Cardi B, Neil Patrick Harris, and Paris Hilton, I don't know what I've done. I don't know if this is good or bad, but it's something. In all seriousness, though, back to the topic at hand. Thomas in the abstract chat, like 60 seconds ago, actually not quite 60, like 3 minutes ago, said just bought a G Boy box, and then like 60 seconds after that said his G Boy box is now showing up on his G Boy Special that he owns one. So yes, updated in 15 minutes, maybe even faster than that. Jambert adds, yeah, the G Boy Special AI is pretty solid. Jim, do you want to go back to you? Anything to add off of and follow up of Random's takes there, or anything we haven't hit on yet? As far as I'm aware of, again, we will continue this conversation tomorrow, but anything those that are listening might want to know or do today, if this is something they're interested in and want to explore further.
No, I think Random, he hit it. He hit it right there. Yeah, it's yep, that's it. Let's see what happens.
Exciting stuff. And again, I don't know what's going to happen. Quite frankly, I'm rooting for it because it's something new. It's novel, on chain, and converging the physical and digital realm.
Yeah, it's fun. You know what's funny though? I kind of how many weeks ago was it? I came up and talked about Neuko, and look, we're still talking about it. So yeah, it's fun. It's an experience, and we'll just see what happens with it, right?
Yep. And just to be clear, while I'm very bearish, lack of details, lack of transparency as it relates around NFT mints, I'm very bullish as it relates around cryptic messages and not having all the information before some sort of event. I'm very bullish, new mechanics, new techniques. It may not work, but I applaud the effort. They're capturing attention. What comes of this? Are they the next big thing in crypto on chain? Do they create the new meta? Maybe. I don't know. But they'll have my support, and I'll amplify whatever I can because they're taking shots. They're doing things differently. They're not running the same entire playbook. It's also by a team that's been around, and they've seen a lot in this space. They are in the trenches. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm not excited because I have a snake, right? And it's funny because it probably is the most valuable NFT in my Solana wallet. I don't have many Solana NFTs. The only one I really treasure is I've got a Kath photograph NFT that I'm a fan. I hold some of her work on ETH, and I've got trying to find it. Magic Eden, not my favorite. I can't even find it. Oh, there it is. Day One, it's called. That is, I have no idea what the floor is, if there even is a floor. Yeah, okay, 1.12 Solana floor price. So yeah, the G Boy snake badge, courtesy of Von Frunten, is my most unrelated but related to my Solana wallet. The other thing I have in there is a 12-pack of these collector crypt boxes. Am I dead? Did I miss that claim on the Moonbirds thing? Can anyone help me on that? Is there still time to go burn or sell or do whatever I need to with these Moonbirds boxes? There's still offers of one soul, so I'm guessing it's still. Or am I cooked? How down bad am I for not doing the collector crypt thing with the Moonbird box? Does anyone know? I'll follow up. That's a me problem, not a you problem. But anyways, I digress.
I know what's funny, Cap. You said similar vibes. Yeah, I got Cardi B, Iggy, Joe Rogan. So I don't know how it's getting this information, but okay.
Yeah, I'll give him some feedback on there. I'll ask what's going on with the similar vibes. Where are you guys pulling this from? Thomas says just changes PFP to the hoods up G Boy using their AI tools that make it easy to proliferate their IP. Novel concept. We've seen this success with GIFs and proliferation of IP. I think sometimes the community will rely on community members to pump out derivatives or art or Twitter banners or custom PFPs. I'm not knocking that either. I think of like Boarded Closet, for instance, with all the ape stuff. Been doing that from the jump. There's also a few others that are slipping my name right now, but I've done the same thing from the jump because this, again, they did that very, very early days. But an obvious interest point for active participants was, hey, we'd like to do more with this brand. We'd like to create more with this IP that I now own. And that was all pre-AI. And to I think it was Random's point, even with things like ChatGPT and modern AI and Nano Banana, it's cool, it works. It's just, it lacks consistency. It's challenging to sometimes you get exactly what you want. Other times you're beating your head against the wall and you spend an hour trying to prompt something and it's still broken. And you need to throw it into Canva and make the adjustments because it just is not getting it. Or what it created yesterday, like you said, do the same thing, keep all this consistent, and it spits out some image of my ape that looks like a cheap derivative that was launched on Polygon in 2021. So this stuff matters. What is the market for this type of tool? I don't know. I really don't know. But I appreciate them taking shots. I'm curious. We'll ask maybe tomorrow if that's our special guest, if you've caught what I've been laying down earlier. I'll tell you this. You're definitely going to tune in tomorrow. If this piques your interest at all, go hit that reminder, one in from the left. But I am curious if the blind box in the vinyl was always part of the plan, if it was all they saw the success that Moonbirds and Flog had with the blind box and decided to jump into that momentum. I respect it either way. Go ahead, Jambert.
Yeah. So one thing I was thinking, all right, so I got a GVC as my PFP along with Rock Soul as the background, right? And I have made a GVC with G Boy with the hood, and I'm like, I don't want to let's say, I don't want to say taint the art, but take away from it, from GVC and putting a G Boy hood on it. But I'm like, you know what? Just have fun with it. I'm thinking, sometimes we think too much, like, oh no, people are gonna not like that and stuff. But at times you just gotta, you do you. Yep. Back in the day, I remember like, oh, people were frowned upon if you wore Adidas and Nike. You had a Adidas shirt and Nike shoes. Like, oh, you can't do that. What are you doing? But we just gotta have fun. And honestly, when I'm thinking about it, we're all here to have fun and make some cash, yeah, and learn and just grow together. So why not have 3 different projects as a PvP?
So yeah, why not? And also, if this is something you're participating in, if you're an active participant, you can always change back. Why like lean into it? You saw Thomas just changed his PFP. The other thing, if you go to, I was late to the game, by the way. Again, Von Front got me in with the badge. I've not created anything. One thing here, you connect your X hustle tracking. I don't know this to be true. I don't know this to be a fact. It's in the range of outcomes. It's possible that part of that tracking is looking at your PFP. I see Teacher Katie out there with her. I see Digital Asset. There's several in the audience that have. I see Zombie. We talked about earlier, Zombie Rob, that have their PFPs. I know we'd call it G Boy eyes or Nuki eyes or hoods up. You can tell my community vernacular is lacking. Yeah, they're tracking that X hustle. They're tracking what you create. I'm guessing the X hustle is a combination of talking about it as well as again, the PFP thing is completely guessing. Maybe there's no weight put in that at all. Maybe there is. Probably doesn't hurt to swap your PFP, especially if you've got Premium X. It doesn't nerf you at all. Just an idea. But good stuff. Excited to dive deeper on this one tomorrow. If you do have one of those badges, again, the clock is ticking. You've got till tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern to take that action that they're asking you to take. How much you trust them? Go send your badge to the address in those pinned posts up top, and stay tuned. Degen Fister, shout out the didn't even have to do it myself. Figster, Degen Figster, excuse me, did not. That was I don't know what you call that. That was Degen Figster. My apologies. The War Room won today. That's all I'm going to say is the War Room. I usually do a good job of managing multiple chats and staying on point. There was a few times I very much so got distracted by some antics in there this morning. And if I was laughing on screen, it wasn't laughing at anyone speaking. I lost to the War Room. Yeah, the hood looks good. Shout out to Degen Figster. Last thing, I don't know if we still have Oxy here on stage. Yes, thank you. Last topic I wanted to hit on today. Again, more on this tomorrow. Not the end of this for sure, but something new. It's exciting. It's different. There is a buzz, and I am all for new, novel, on-chain experiments, attempts, doing things differently. And I enjoy the cryptic stuff. Like, I don't want to know everything. There's some things that are important, especially if it's just going to be an NFT mint and you're asking for millions of dollars. I expect some information, otherwise I'm out. Anyways, and that's the last I'm going to talk about, the 2D Good Vibes clubs. Promise. Oxy, GM sir, what do we need to know about ICO season? Can I put you on the spot?
Dude, it's a wild ride right now. Everyone wants your money, you know?
When is the bubble burst? I think this ends bad. I don't know when. I'm not saying it's not a good thing. I'll be participating in some of these ICOs, but someone mentioned, I saw a take earlier, is this going to end just like the KOL rounds? And I'm picturing the roller coaster, right? Every loop gets smaller than the one before. I've seen some are just they've straight up knocking off or carbon copying the Mega ETH pre-sale, which is fine. It worked. But what like zooming out high level, not talking any specific brands, I do think we have an ICO season for a while. I think we're going to see more coming out of Coinbase. They said when they did their first one with Monad, they said they're going to do about one a month. So that would mean probably within the next week or two, we see another one on Coinbase. Just what's your high level thoughts on ICOs? Good, bad, ugly?
Yeah.
How much time do we have left before the bubble bursts on ICO season?
Yeah. So ICOs as a concept, I don't think are like bad inherently. Like I think it's a great way to raise funds for good products that retail investors can get involved in.
Agreed.
Now, right now, it's crazy how many there are, but then further, how many ICOs are just for products that people don't even really know what they're doing, and like what it even means. Like I've read some of the description on some of these ICOs. I'm like, you're just like throwing together as many words as you possibly can to make it sound like you're making some unique DeFi product or what have you. So there was a time where ICOs were an instant money printer where like you could put money into an ICO and the next day you could flip it for 2x. I think we're slowly moving away from that, maybe quickly moving away from that, to be honest. But there are still good products that are ICOing that I think will be good opportunities for people to get involved in. Like the wet one, which Jupiter launched yesterday. It was a terrible launch, to be frank. It was botted originally. They tried to do it again. It didn't they messed up their launch timing. So like the launch was terrible, but the product underneath is a really unique like automated market maker protocol that's on Solana. It's like one of the largest products on Solana. So that was a great opportunity. People 2x'd off their ICO. So there's still good opportunities there. But I think we need to be incredibly vigilant on products launching that either one, they don't need a token. Why are you launching a token for X product? Or two, what does this product even mean? And and then I guess further, why do you even need a token for it? So I think the opportunity of just throwing money at any ICO is behind us, and now you need to really do some deep research into what products make sense.
Yeah, well said. I agree. I think I'm a fan of the mechanism. I appreciate the ability to participate in some of these early rounds. I think it's a good thing. I also think that, like most things in crypto, I'm not saying 99% are going to go to zero. A lot of them are going to go to zero. A lot of them are going to be overvalued because some may have good intentions. Some may also attempt to take advantage of this current meta, this current hype, excitement, and overvalue their asks. It's very likely to happen, as some of these are just going to be bad deals. So you do need to be diligent. You need to be selective, not just firing everything. And as with anything, don't put any money in you can't afford to lose. Some of it too, if you're in the States, you're probably it's going to be locked up for 12 months on a lot of these. So it's not just, is this thing going to open up at a 5x valuation over what I got in? It may, but is it going to stay there for 12 months? And a lot of that's going to depend on what actually does the token do? What's the underlying company? Is there any real revenue there? Is there any real business? You need to be doing your due diligence on each and every one of these. I think it's important. I do think we will see more and more of these. Here I got Tyler Didit's post pulled up. Huge day of ICO news. To recap, HumidFi's wet token soared 5 to 6x from ICO presale. Rainbow Wallet announced ICO for December 11th, selling 3% of the supply at $100 million fully diluted value. Seems good, but again, I don't know what a wallet token does. Octra announces ICO on Sonar for December 18th, selling 10% at $200 million. And Fogo announces 2% coming December 17th. Tis the season. I'll be participating in some of these, certainly not all, but I think could very well be a good opportunity for those that choose correctly and do proper due diligence. And I'm very much so a fan of the ability to participate and make the decision for myself, as opposed to having to be in the right group chat or have the right friends and family to get in some of these early opportunities, or having to wait until it's open, for public. So do your due diligence, little more risk involved, and but also opportunities. So have some fun with it. Last, circling back real quick, so I can share. Didn't get confirmation if it wants to be known who said it. I don't think it really matters, but I'll share the take. This is regarding G Boy. We know there's a token coming for G Boy. We've seen communities rally around tokens taking the multi-billion-dollar valuations. Now we have a community with the ability to proliferate consistent IP around a token that will then presumably drive an AI-driven company. There are lots of dots connecting for me on this one. Imagine if MOG had these tools when it launched. Then imagine if MOG fueled an actual company. Could all go to zero, but I love how intentional they're being with it. I agree. Last topic of the day. I'll pull up here. This is also a big one. Probably not going to excite everyone. Probably not going to excite a lot of people. I think it's pretty exciting. This REKT announcement, which I will pin up top as well, partnered up with EVGHQ and Aspen Digital AMP to open a regulatory pathway for global institutional access. What does that mean? I don't know exactly, other than this will, you're now kind of like an ETF, but not for the public, more for like family offices, high net worth individuals, onboarding them into the REKT token, the REKT journey. Will it work? How much adoption will they get? How many of these institutions will actually care and buy this token? I don't know. We'll find out. But again, it's something new. I think the first of its kind. I don't think we've seen this before. Let's say a key component of this collaboration is the FSRA approval Aspen has received with the Abu Dhabi global market. This approval enables Aspen to list, custody, facilitate compliant transactions for the REKT token. For the first time, family offices, high net worth individuals, institutions can access REKT through a regulated and transparent process. I've worked for a family office before. I've never worked for this sort of family office. My Middle East experience is extremely limited. So I'm not the expert, but this team, it just keeps shipping. They keep moving. I think they're one of the best teams in crypto. They don't get near enough credit. They're building a real business. They've got incredible distribution. If you missed it, they're now in Giant Eagles in the Midwest, which is a major supermarket chain, one of the regional leaders. They just partnered with X Games. I think we talked about that the other day, but it's a big deal. It's a major partnership. I must have the wrong X Games. They did have the REKT guy PFP for a while. Maybe there's another handle here, or they've already changed it back. But they did for a minute. They had this as their profile pic. Looks like they're back to X Games now, but still a big deal. 150,000 views on that one, more than the Doodle mint. I mean, excuse me, more than the 2D Good Vibes Club mint. 1.4 million followers. X Game. I wasn't planning to go to Aspen in January. I may now. That could be fun. I saw Wiz of Soho teasing a party there. yeah, Thomas, there's been a lot of times I've thought about buying REKT and adding to my bag, and I haven't, and then it runs and I regret it. I might have to follow your lead there and pick up some more myself. The team continues to impress. I really respect how they're moving, and not just what they're shipping. You know, Hizzy added the impressions on that REKT guy PFP dwarfs their other posts, even with their 1.4 million followers. Web3 can activate. I've said for a while, the REKT community is one of the most engaged on this app. At least anytime I put in anything REKT guy related, it does numbers. It's not just me or any individuals. It's these brands are getting a lot of love and support, and stuff matters. It captures attention. Kudos to the team. We probably overdue to get OSF and team back on here to get an update. They're not slowing down. I think what impresses me as much as what they're shipping is when things are down, when they have a liquidation cascade, when the market tanks, when their token tanks, for whatever reason, they lean into it. They don't run, they don't hide, they continue to move forward. It's very apparent to me they're building a very real business that's not going to stop or take time off or get frustrated or get distracted if number goes down. And I imagine that's hard, takes resilience, takes, I don't even know, audacity. They're a really good team that's, I think, is professional, as good at the communication piece as anyone in the space. They're as good as collaborations and landing these big partnerships as anyone in the space. And do they get recognition and credit? Yes. But I think there's some others that their NFT floor prices might have been higher than a REKT guy at some point. Maybe their tokens higher than I think the crypto space at large that's not in the REKT ecosystem yet, I think sometimes looks at them like a second tier brand or team because they didn't have the NFT that ran up to double-digit ETH, or they didn't have a token that ran up to multi-billions. To which I would say, yet, this team's not stopping, and it's still really early in the life cycle of them building a real business. They're, for all intents and purposes, just wrapped up year one with a pretty extremely impressive year by any metric, any all intents and purposes. If you talk about CPG brands, if you talk about drink brands, there's not many on the planet that move 3 million units in their first year, or 1 million units in their first year. Go ahead, Oxy.
Yeah, I think this is cool. I guess maybe specifically talking to the giving access to family offices for, it seems to be the REKT token. Do you think it's REKT token or equity in any way? I think it's insinuating.
Yeah.
Token.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's REKT token.
Okay.
Could be equity.
Yeah, I mean,
there's equity there, but yeah, my understanding is REKT token.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I'm really curious to see like how these, I've said it before, is how they marry the token to the equity side of things. Like obviously people that held REKT NFTs got equity at a certain point. So, you know, a lot of the holders of the token also hold some of the equity. I'm curious how this is all going to marry together. I mean, I agree. OSF and that team is doing an incredible job at marketing this whole ecosystem and product line. I think they've broken out of the ecosystem. Like, I think there's people that want REKT drinks that don't even really know this entire side of CT, simply because they make a good product and they've been at these events that can proliferate the brand, like we've talked about. So I don't know. I think they're doing an incredible job.
Yeah, I agree. It's very impressive how they're moving, and I disclosed before, but yes, I hold a REKT guy NFT. I have a sliver of equity in REKT drinks. I hold a little bit of REKT token. None of it is life-changing money or material in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I guess maybe if they IPO for billions of dollars someday, it might be like a 5-figure windfall for me. I don't think there's probably no scenario where it's 6 or 7 figures for myself. Not that I wouldn't take a 5-figure windfall. It's just like, that is my head decades out, not years. Now, could the REKT token run up? Yeah, sure. But again, I don't, it's not a bag that's going to, it's not going to change my life in any way, shape, or form. I'm just a fan. I'm a fan. I'm excited to participate. I'm excited to follow along. And the biggest reason is we need more success stories coming out of crypto native brands. From everything, I mean, Polymarket is an easy example. Massive success story. Yes, they're crypto native. I think they get grouped more into prediction markets than crypto or on-chain. REKT is a very much so a crypto native brand with a crypto native community with an army of ambassadors. And while it's hard, while what they're doing is really impressive and not everyone has the talent, the skill sets, the connections, etc., to do that, I do believe their success story can absolutely inspire and bring in more entrepreneurs, more teams, more builders into crypto to build on chain, to build with a crypto native community. And that, at the end of the day, do I want to see the REKT drinks and the REKT brand have success? Yes, they absolutely deserve it. What excites me most about their momentum and their success is, I think, I've said it before, but I think that can and probably will be another catalyst to onboarding more active builders and active participants into crypto, into building on-chain businesses and building in this crypto native sphere where you can leverage these network effects. I do. I think it's going to be brands like REKT that could be that catalyst. That could be that one that tipped the scales. Like, imagine these family offices that get in, they start having success, they see big returns. Don't you think people are going to dive a little deeper? Well, okay, we just hit a 10x, we just hit a 100x with REKT. What's next? What else should we be paying attention to there? Because this is unprecedented. We've never seen any of our other brands in our portfolio do this. The one thing I still, and this is not a shot at REKT drinks whatsoever, it's more just my brain curiosity and not knowing all the answers. And I think this is actually an answer I got back from Warp Joe, who's big brain. He's on the show. He's a regular in the audience. He pops on, and every time he comes up, he has something profound to share. He just kind of shared on this thing. It's net good. Not sure. Candidly, not sure what that means for the future of the token price. This is what I don't know in my head. What I'm still trying to figure out is, how do they take, and this goes for all, not just REKT drinks. This goes for Pudgy. This goes for Apes. This, like, when they get the eyeballs, when they land one of these big collaborations, how do they take the visibility they're going to get at X Games Aspen and turn that audience into a buyer of REKT drinks, into a buyer of the REKT token, into another brand ambassador? Like, forget about onboarding other builders and entrepreneurs who see the success they're having and want to play in the same sandbox. I think that'll happen. How do they pull through? How do they convert the X Games attendee to becoming a REKT drinks ambassador, or even a REKT drinks buyer, or a REKT token buyer? I don't know. It's very hard. But what I do know is they're at least in that game now. They at least have a shot. Whereas without these type of collaborations, without onboarding these family offices, without landing the X Games sponsorship, there's really no path. I mean, there is. The Giant Eagle customer buys some REKT drinks and they click through a QR code, and the next thing you know, weeks, months, years later, they're part of the REKT community. That's, I think, the big question in my head. That's what I'm really paying it. Not just REKT. It just happens they're, I think, leading the charge in terms of growing their distribution and getting outside of the crypto bubble. The next step that I'm looking for, because quite frankly, I've shared, I haven't signed anything yet, but I'm basically committed. I'm going to help scale a retail brand. I know I'm crazy. I said I'd never do this again, but I'm going to help scale a retail brand, and they have a distribution, a wholesale business that's in the beverage business. It's not a competitor of REKT, but it is functional beverage. I don't know yet how to incorporate the two. I love the idea of a brand coin. I love the idea of this next gen loyalty rewards program. I'm still looking for some ideas, some answers, a path to how do you convert that retail customer or that attendee who sees your brand at a event. How do you bring them in the fold? And I don't know. I haven't connected that dot yet. And I don't know if anyone knows for sure the answer, but REKT Drinks is the one I'm absolutely paying attention to every move because I think they're the closest to figuring it out. Go ahead, Oxy, and then we'll wind things down, get everyone out of here.
Yeah, I know. I guess I'm curious, like when having these conversations with these like family offices or high net worth individuals, it's like, okay, how does REKT token, a boomer is going to ask, what's your revenue? What's your net income? How is the value of the REKT token tied into this product that you've built, that you've sold millions and millions of cans of? Like, how does this communicate with each other? Because they're not going to understand what a token is. They're not going to understand how it's not equity. They're not going to understand the combination of the two. So I'm really curious, like, how do you answer that question? And it just comes from a place of ignorance, to be honest. But how do you answer that question to someone that's like, I want to buy into this because I can see the potential here in the non-alcoholic beverage market, but why does buying this token mean anything to me? And how does it get me any exposure to your company? So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I mean, and to your point, I think this is like the perfect gateway drug into crypto companies or any company that has a token tied to it, as well as equity, and how those get married together. Like we're in this frontier where companies have never had a token and equity and married them the right way to where you can make both parties happy. And I think if there's going to be a company to do it right, it's probably going to be REKT and OSF and that team. So I'm just really, really curious how that is going to work.
Same. And the other thing I'll just add to that, piggyback off of, is I think if I had to bet, I think that they're the closest to figuring it out. But the other thing that keeps me excited is they're going to have missteps. They're likely going to make mistakes. They're likely going to do some things that don't work. And they're just going to keep going. They're not going to quit. They're not going to try. They're not going to pivot. They're just going to do something differently the next time. Like the team and how they're moving really matters. I got someone knocking. So that's my sign to, we'll get everyone out of here. Appreciate y'all tuning in today. Thanks so much. As my buddy Steve would say, hope y'all have a wonderful, go hit that reminder as we play out. Hit the reminder for tomorrow's show. We will have a special guest diving deep on one of the topics we talked about today. So we'd love a warm house, a full house for him. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great day. As Steve would say, hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.